Christopher Kent. Welcome to Flea Market Mania. We're here at the Burks County Heritage Center in Reading, Pennsylvania. Folks from all around have come to enjoy the 20th annual Burks County Heritage Festival, and they brought their antiques and flea market finds for us to appraise. So come on, let's get started. I'd like to welcome you to the show.
Thank you.
And your name is?
Grace Adams.
Grace Adams. Now, what can you tell me about the plates you brought in?
Well, they were great grannies. I know they're more than 50 years old. She never used them that I know of. She never displayed them.
Huh.
They were kept in her pantry, along with many, many other pieces of glassware.
And lots of other goodies as well?
Oh, yes.
Oh, well done. Well, it's a pity she didn't use them. I'm a staunch supporter of things that are beautiful being out and used and, you know, influencing our lives and enriching us and all that good stuff. But let's get down to the basics on these. Do you know where they're from besides your relative?
I have no idea.
All right. And the nice thing is we got a little bit of vague information here, but we do have some information. This is for the Victor Schmidt Company. We got a V and we got our S here, China Company.
Yes.
Okay. Now, Victor Schmidt was an S-C-H-M-I-D-T. He was German, and these are, in fact, from Germany. However, the age on these predates when we had to put the country of origin on them when they were exported out of the country. In 1883, 1883 is when the law said, if it's coming from a foreign country into the United States, we have to know where it is. Well, these are a little bit older than that, which is very nice. So these are coming actually before 1880, all right? Now, these were not made so much to be used on a regular basis. These were fancy plates and decorated, as we can see, by all these happy people either being influenced by song or by libation.
Yes.
So we're going to assume these are happy campers here. And the decoration on this it's a transfer decoration. And then we have hand-modeled coloring around the rim and then a solid band on the rim as well. These are a demi-porcelain plate. They're not pure porcelain. They have a little bit more of a vitreous content in them, which gives them a little bit more weight. And they were made primarily as decorative pieces. But you could serve your afternoon slice of cake on them. It was not going to do them any harm whatsoever. Now, as far as value is concerned, these are the four that you have?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to also tell you that these series and dishes like these would have had all sorts of companionable pieces as well. There may have been coffee pots, chocolate pots, cups and saucers, creamers, sugars, smaller dessert plates and things like that. But were not made so much as dinnerware for everyday use. They were purely decorative and rather lovely as these are. Now, there's no attribution as far as an artist is concerned. Sometimes you will see in the corner the artist actually who did the picture. These have all been transferred on, and we don't have much hand detail work on these plates at all. So it's not surprising that we don't have an attribution as far as an artist is concerned. But as far as value is concerned, we're looking at a piece that's coming from the last quarter of the 19th century from Germany. And I would put these at about $75 each.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
So I think you did very well. And I want you to bring them out, use them, look at them, let them enrich your life. And I thank you very much for bringing them.
Thank you.
It was a delight to meet you. Thanks. You know, there are so many different criteria for dining room tables. Everybody's got a specific need for one. Someone round, someone oval, someone long. Anyway, we got a great table right here. This is called a refectory table. Zoom in on this one, you can see how long it is. You can seat 10 people very comfortably. What is a refectory table? It was in the refectory of a monastery. That's where the monks went and they had their supper in the refectory. Great word, hence the name for the table. This is a nice solid construction. It has a good 17th century look with a single bit, strong, sturdy anyway. These could be extended by simply putting another piece of wood on top of it and making it longer. Extension tables are really big. Let's scoot over to this one and look at this one. This is a nice contemporary, by contemporary 1940s, 1950s extension banquet table. So you got a party of two, you take out all the leaves and you have a nice little quiet dinner party. You have a party for 12, you put in the leaves, you pull these up, everything sort of scooches apart, it makes a nice long table. You can bring out grandma's linen and it looks great. be prepared to pay a couple $1,000s for this one and a couple $1,000s for this table over here. Great look, beautiful, solid construction. But if you like round tables, I don't know if you can see this one, but look at this one. This was carved for the European market in China, more than likely. The wood is an incredibly beautiful patinaed mahogany. The carving around here, this is a flip. So this flips over like that, flat, locks into place, and you get a really great look. So you can seat 4 people, 6 people, and you're looking to pay for a nice antique like this. Is probably late 18th century, early 19th century, $3,000–4,000. So as a savvy shopper, get out there and look for the kind of table that works for you. And let me tell you, if you don't have the bucks to buy a really gorgeous table, get yourself a nice piece of plywood, drape it with some good fabric with a glass top. You got lunch for 4 like that. A study in style, Larkin desks when we come back. We're back and I'm talking to
Ron Swartz.
Ron, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Tell us about this beautiful piece of furniture right here.
Okay, what this is a Larkin side-by-side. It's a bookcase desk combination.
Beautiful. Period?
Approximately 1890.
Made in the United States.
That is correct.
And we've got a full front desk here.
That is correct.
There's a writing surface there.
Desk. That is correct.
And these are constructed of oak. Now, a lot of young people who are beginning to collect furniture always seem to gravitate towards oak. Maybe I'm reading that wrong, but it seems to me in my observation that that's basically the case. And this is a period of furniture which they seem very comfortable with. How long have you been dealing with Larkin furniture in particular?
Probably the past 12 years.
Well done.
We specialize in a lot of Larkin. It's a very popular.
Can you support that trend theory I've got?
Yes. A lot of the younger women, I don't know if they got it from the mothers, but the younger married women come in and they're looking for antique furniture, oak. And if they buy one piece a year, in 20, 25 years, they're going to have a house furnished in nothing but antiques.
Incredible.
And the good thing about it, it appreciates in value.
Now, from this period, and I can remember seeing these when I began collecting 150 years ago. We used to be able to get these particular pieces for next to nothing. What kind of price tag do we have on this particular Larkin side-by-side?
This one's 1995.
1995.
Yeah, that's correct.
It's beautiful, and I can predict, I can do my Oh Great Swami, this is going to, within the next 5 to 10 years, it's going to quadruple in price very easily. I want to walk over here, and let's look at this piece over here. What we've got is from the simple to the sublime, in that we've got a much more upscale piece here. Tell us about this one.
That's correct. This is a China server,
Beautiful.
side by side. They're one of the rarer pieces I have in here. This dates 1895. When I took the mirror out to resilver, now this mirror I did not resilver, but the date's on the back, 1895. That was the manufacturer date of the mirror.
Well done. Are most of the Larkin pieces stamped? There's going to be a manufacturer's mark on them?
There's usually a cardboard tag on the back of the piece.
And if the cardboard tag is off, did they do any series numbers or anything, paint series on them in the backs?
No, but Larkin has a catalog with all their furniture.
All the pieces that they manufactured.
Correct.
This one, in my opinion, is obviously late Victorian, probably early Edwardian in its look. You probably know much better than I do. What was the retail price on this when this piece was new, when it was made?
Around $400.
They were expensive pieces of furniture.
It was back then. That was a lot of money back then.
Absolutely, it was a high-priced, well-constructed, well-crafted piece of furniture. Beautiful carving at the top with that lattice work, and the design is really, really well done. I understand you do your own refinishing and restoring and so forth.
And yeah, we refinish, restorations, mirror resilvering. We do everything.
Now, not to put you on the spot, but this probably began its life with what I call a molasses sort of finish on it. These were typically dark pieces. If you have a piece like that and the finish is in reasonably good condition, do you say, hands off, leave it alone?
Yeah, what you can do is refurbish and just freshen up the finish.
Yeah. Perfect. There you go. My feeling is, in the business, you get a lot of people that say, you've depreciated it because you've stripped off the original varnishes on them. If it looks awful, by all means take it off.
Yeah, you have no choice.
Yeah.
If you want it to look right.
Retail price of this particular piece?
$23.95.
Well done. Beautiful pieces.
Okay.
Well done. And thank you very, very much for sharing them with us.
Thank you.
I'd like to welcome you to the show, sir.
Hello.
And your name is?
Ronald Adams.
Ronald. Tell me what you have here.
I have a old Underwood typewriter, as you can see. It belonged to my father. From what my mother told me, he got that soon after he graduated from high school in the mid-20s. And it's been in the family. We all, both my sisters and myself, used it to type one through school.
I must say that I went away to college actually with an Underwood portable. That was my mother's, and I think she got that in 1940 something. These guys I'm very familiar with. Are you also aware that there are several national organizations that deal nothing but strictly in typewriters? What you have is an Underwood that's probably coming from 1915, 1916 in that time. This was an expensive little piece of office equipment, and this was made for the commercial trade, not for domestic use. These typewriters cost upwards to $300 a piece. It was an investment that was being made into the office itself, and therefore many offices didn't have them. We still had sort of poor old scribes scribing away and not typing. It is in excellent condition, all things considered, and is very, very worthy of restoration. And you'll be very surprised to know that there are still parts and all sorts of replacement parts available for Underwoods of this particular period. Underwood is probably one of the most famous US manufactured typewriters, and everything about it is just as it's supposed to be. They introduced very early on margin feeds and so forth, and they were really very, very advanced as far as this is concerned. This is not the first typewriter ever made. One of the first typewriters came out of Italy, as a matter of fact, in 1883, 84. We were a little bit slow on the uptake because they were, but that is not the oldest, as a matter of fact. The oldest is an 18th century prototype. But in this country, Underwood is probably the best known of its period, in 1915, 1916. Now, any idea what this particular thing is worth, even with the touch typing instructor manual?
I have no idea. Besides that, I don't know, but I didn't get to show you. It's even my property of David Adams.
It has everything we need to know right there as far as ownership is concerned. As far as the value of this particular piece, fully restored, and it would not take very much to bring this right back up to snuff. As far as that goes, you're probably looking at $500 to $600 for this typewriter. There were some of the early ones that had the advanced key productions out that were coming out this way. The structurally more unique are the ones that collectors are really looking for. This is what we would consider a more standard model from 1915, 1916. But nevertheless has great value. And I want to thank, it's heavy, and I want to thank you for lugging it in. It was a delight to see it.
Okay, thank you very much.
And we're talking to?
Joseph Braga from New Bedford.
From New Bedford,
Massachusetts.
You've got an absolutely beautiful desk here. Tell us about it.
10th of the century, a dispatcher's desk. They use this in a trolley station. All solid oak. It's not heavy like it looks. It's very well designed. A lot of people are interested in it, but it's still here.
It's still here. Well, we're going to see if we can move it for you. Now, this top coming off the side, so we've got three-piece.
This top lifts off.
Three-piece, and this is the precursor here of the filing cabinet.
Two banks.
Okay.
Your modesty board, which is, you can see it around the back, on the front. Can you get a shot at the modesty board? That's all raised panel also.
Beautifully paneled.
Sure.
And this is constructed by the Derby Company, which was one of the best manufacturers of
wooden desks.
Of wooden desks, and also utilitarian wooden desks in particular. As you mentioned before, and I concur with you completely, when it's got Derby and you got the name right there, you can always look to spend a little bit more for the desk, because the quality of the construction is second to none. One of the unique things about these desks is they were designed for public places, either railroad stations, trolleys, for this one in particular. Large offices bought this, and they were famous for their construction, and that's why this one is in such mint condition, because it was made so beautifully to begin with.
Yeah. Plus it was taken care of.
It was also very well taken care of. One of the neat things over here, maybe we can get a spot in, is you got your the roll, which goes up and down like so, And when it comes up,
You put your files
You
in it.
store your files right there. You've got flat storage, which is a beautiful, beautiful design. They also did a line for draftsmen, for architects, with long slide drawers. They were the best as far as really modern, up-to-date design. What kind of price tag do we have on this?
3,000.
3,000 is absolutely right in the ballpark.
Yeah, that's no lower. Yeah, that's,
and
that's right
and
on
you're
the
going to
money.
sell it today.
Hopefully.
The great Swami says so, and I want to thank you very,
welcome.
very much for sharing it with us.
No problem.
And our audience. And
When do I
our-
pick up my check?
Well, we'll see if we can get the network to cut you one. Don't go away. Flea Market Mania will be back in a moment. I'd like to welcome you to the show. And your name is?
Betty Lytle.
Betty Lytle. Nice to meet you.
Yes.
Tell me about this collection you've brought in.
Well, initially, these I know as egg cups that were used by my great-grandfather, Samuel B. Becker, who was one of the last Civil War veterans remaining in Burks County.
And there's his mug.
And this is his mug also. These I know nothing about other than that it's a moustache cup. I know nothing else about it. And also here's another one. Interesting.
A little commemorative one saying,
which
"Remember
says,
me."
Remember me.
Yes.
And this is just a floral cup that's
All right.
old.
First of all, let's start with these guys right here. They're not egg cups to begin with, even though he was creative in the use of them. They began their life with saucers, and these were handleless teacups. And they were done in the 18th century style, even though these are 19th century teacups.
Okay.
They were made originally in, are you taking notes?
Yes.
Oh, well done. These were made originally in England
Okay.
in the 19th century, in the 18th century style. And this decoration that is on here is an applied decoration that is finished off in a luster glaze.
Okay.
And then it's fired. And this has a good copper base in the luster, which gives it that beautiful coppery sheen to it. This was very popular coming from Staffordshire, part of England. Wedgwood, Worcester, lots of the famous name companies were making these. These have no marks on them, which is okay. They're not that they were generic, it's simply that there was a mark and an attribution given to them somewhere, but not here. These would have been part of a whole tea set at one time. And the tea bowl, the cup, rather the saucer of it itself, would have flared up around it. And you would have taken this hot cup and poured it into your saucer and then drink it from there. The concept of the handleless cup obviously was from Asia, from China and
yes.
Japan, and they would have held theirs this way. The Europeans, of course, and the English in particular, and then Americans, would pour it into their saucer and drink from there. Yeah, so then we have the varieties here of these wonderful mustache mugs. These are very, very popular as purely sentimental collectible items. And that's what a lot of dealers are looking for. They want to see that the message that's on here is legible and readable. Most of these were coming from the mid-19th century. Most of these were either made in England or Germany or the United States. And so you've got a great variety of these, as a straight mug here, mustache mug here, and a beautiful little sweetheart of a commemorative one, which was probably more for a lady than as for a gentleman. All of them coming from the 19th century. This one, in particular, has a very nice transfer decoration on it, and then it's got some very nice little touches of handwork on it as well. This may or may not have had a saucer at one time in its former life, but was not so much to be used as a mug. It probably had a saucer at one time. Collectively, we have two different categories here of the 19th century Staffordshire handleless teacups here. If they had their saucers, you'd be looking at about $125 each for those. So without saucers and great egg cups that they are, you'd be looking at about $25 to $40 range for these. Now, for the good, very sentimental mustache mugs, these start at about $125 each. So that's basically what we're looking at. We can attribute that price to this one, maybe a little bit more at 150 to 175 for this one. And this one, I believe, because of the way the bottom of the cup is, it had a saucer at one time. So we have to look at this, unfortunately, as an incomplete piece. And I would put this single piece at about 25 to 40 as well.
Right.
It's a great collection. And thank you very much for bringing them in. This one in particular is very, very special.
Yes, it is.
It's special to you.
Yes.
Thanks for bringing them in.
Oh, you're more than welcome. Thank you.
We have a very special guest with us today. And your name is, sir?
John Miller.
John Miller. Thanks very much for coming onto the show. John, what'd you bring us today?
A series of mugs. I don't know much about them, and I thought they might be of some value and of some interest.
Well, they are valuable and they are interesting. What you got here, John, is called a Toby mug. Toby mugs were made in the 18th century originally in Staffordshire. Really wonderful, good looking. They used to be of Napoleon and George III and all sorts of really wonderful historical characters. They then evolved into classic Dickens characters, fairy tales. This guy that you have here is the Pied Piper. We see him looking happy here with his little mice, and he's going to tweet us out of the country. You have here a contemporary piece made in this century, and we know that because it says so right on the bottom. Made by Royal Doulton. I think this one is in the 50s. And good looking, very nice, soft paste with a nice little glaze on them. Where'd you find this? You have a huge collection. I see we got lots and lots of them here.
Well, I received them as a gift.
You got them as a gift?
Yes.
Wonderful.
I have no idea what they are.
Well, they're a good gift and they're valuable. These pieces, you can find them in flea markets, you can find them in antique stores all over the place, and they come in all sizes, large, small. Some of the smallest ones are this size, and you're looking at between the broad price range. And if you're getting them at a flea market, you can probably get a good deal on them for as low as $25, as high as several $100s. A piece like this is only going to get more valuable. So hang on to your collection, because now you're looking at probably about $275 to $325 bracket. But it's going to get more valuable as it gets older. The really, really, really old ones are into the thousands of dollars. So hang on to the collection, take good care of them, dust them, and thanks so much for coming on to the show.
Thank you for having me.
It was a pleasure. Good to see you. Thank you, and that's all we have time for.